Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas. Thanks for joining us here today at the Soligent YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also as well, thanks for joining us if you're at the Spotify platform. We're on both of these platforms, available on demand. So if you're driving around, going to a job, you've got some windshield time, or you're out there working on the job, doing some work, and you want to put something in your ears, don't listen to something mindless, just people complaining on some talk show about the news or just music in the background. I love music, but why not take that time to become more valuable and gaining knowledge for you and your customers? And you can do that by tuning in right here at the Soligent YouTube channel and Spotify to the Beyond Emissions podcast, where we focus on creating a world that is beyond emissions. And how are we going to do it? Well, it's technology, innovation, people, solutions, all available right here at Soligent. Click on the link below to become a Soligent dealer today and to find out more. We have experts from around the world, partners with Soligent on the Beyond Emissions podcast that give us education that you're not going to get elsewhere about the industry, about things going on in technology, innovation, opportunities to offer your customer a greater value, like solar and energy storage, etc. All the materials, electrical balance of systems, all available right here at Soligent. Click on the link below. But that's how you become more valuable to your customers. You focus on education, investing in your own education. Like Einstein once said, seek to be valuable, not successful. If you're focused on success, you're going to have limited success. But if you focus on being more valuable by investing in your education, you're going to be more valuable to your customers and you're going to have more success than you ever would have dreamed of. So we appreciate you being here today at the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. We have a great guest today, special guest. I'm so honored, my friend. Also as well, a partner with Soligent for energy storage solutions. You can get Fortress Power Solutions available from us here at Soligent. Again, click on the link below. We're going to find out a lot today about Fortress Power energy storage solutions available at Soligent from our special guest, CEO. So cool. We get everyone on this program. And, as a CEO, generally speaking, you don't have time in your day to do stuff like this. You have people to do this kind of stuff for you. But Jing Yu, CEO of Fortress Power, a friend of the Brummster. I'm Josh Brumm, Energy Storage Manager here at Soligent. She's a friend of ours, and she's taken the time out of her day. Most CEOs wouldn't do this, and I'm so thankful that you are this type of person. What a great leader and a great friend of ours. Jing Yu, welcome to the Beyond Emissions podcast. Folks, real quick before we talk to Jing, I always ask you this question. Write it down in the comment section below. What does Beyond Emissions mean to you? Jing, welcome to the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. What does Beyond Emissions mean to you?
Sure. Well, George, first I want to thank you for the opportunity, and what you have just mentioned is so well said, being valuable and to the people around you, to your partners, to even people that you don't know that you can be valuable to. So I want to mention that before I give you my answer. What are the Beyond Emissions to me is the first, I think, is really reduce the carbon footprint, right, by producing and utilizing clean energy. But more is also provide the affordable clean electricity to everyone on this planet. I think electricity, we know that it's necessity of the human being. So this should be accessible for everyone.
Right. When we look at resources, energy resources, it's probably one of the number one causes or factors in war or lack of peace around the world, right? Fighting over resources. But a Beyond Emissions future with unlimited clean energy, that really brings everyone into the game and takes away that caveat, if you will, for why a war might be happening when fighting over fossil fuels, for example. We're not going and fighting over something that's been in the ground for millions of years. We're going to pull it up, burn it once, hurt the environment, and get energy one time. Talk about that. Renewable energy, it's a different animal. I mean, literally, I mean, you make the battery once, you make the panel once, but it produces energy and provides clean energy over and over and over again for people around the world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you talk about the panel, you talk about battery, the PV storage systems designed to be last for 20, even some more than 20 years, some of the components. And also beauty of that, I want to mention is with the decentralized, renewable energy is that you increase efficiency by not sending the power through the power line, which usually causes about a 60% of power loss. So it's more efficient and also gives the homeowner more control, right? You can map out what you need and then, set up a right system sizes for you, not just providing you the backup power when the grid goes off, but also, avoid those electricity increase that is happening, in the country or globally. The prices has gone up, the utility, companies increase the price dramatically. So it really is more efficient, more dependable, and more, I would say more, give the homeowner more independence.
Yes. Jing Yu, CEO of Fortress Power. You can get Fortress Power solutions. Click on the link below. Become a Fortress Power dealer with Soligent today. Click on the link below. Jing Yu, CEO of Fortress Power, with us today on the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. Preach it, sister. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. Decentralized. Inflation, you touched on that. It's not just raising the cost of fuel for our vehicles or the cost of eggs at the store or milk and bread. Energy costs are on the rise as well because of inflation. A great way to mitigate inflation damage caused to our economy and our personal pocketbooks, become energy independent. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen that, and it's actually, I would say it's a joke because in the last 2 years, that the electricity price has gone up, the gas price has gone up, and at the same time, you also heard the oil company, they have the probably made the most money in their last couple of decades. So the inflation, we're not seeing just in the oil and the gas, electricity price. We've seen also, of course, in the food and all the other, like the stuff that we need for our daily life. Now, being said, if you look into the solar storage, right? Look into the last couple of, I would say, 10 and 20 decades, the price have dropped dramatically. So, and the system become also more efficient. So, and I know in many places it's already achieved a grid parity, which means if you use the solar storage, the cost of electricity that produced is less than you are using a big power plant, fossil fuel power plant, and sending hundreds of miles or thousands of miles away to distribute those electricity. So this is really a great solution that is to mitigate those inflation and obviously improve, people's life. Now, I also want to mention one thing, Josh, is also compare that amount of employment in the renewable energy space. This is a product that's been manufactured and then will be installed by the electricians, solar contract installers. So this creates a lot of jobs.
Wait a second. The utilities and the lobbyists in California, they're saying that solar hurts poor people. I don't know about you, but you remember what Reagan said back in the day, the best social program is a job. There's been no better industry that has helped the poor by providing more employment opportunities for upward expansion economically than the solar and storage industry, right?
Yes, absolutely. Have you seen that how many, let's put it this way, you compare the oil fracking and oil industry and to renewable energy. Renewable energy is the system are installed by small mom and pop shops to, big electrician or, solar companies. And those companies employs, hundreds of thousands of people. So that what the utility in California that are saying is absolutely incorrect. It's incorrect. It's obviously they see a big threat of decentralized energy generation because that's going to take the control away from them.
Right, they're a monopoly, exactly. And we look at years and years ago. By the way, again, folks, thanks for being here today. Josh Brumm, Energy Storage Manager at Soligent. You're at the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. Our special guest, my friend Jing Yu, CEO of Fortress Power. Fortress Power available right now at Soligent. Click on the link below to find out more how you can get your Fortress Power solutions today. It goes back in history, right, Jing, when you look at Thomas Edison. Now, back then, all the generators that were locally produced for DC power were all dirty, clunky, dirty energy. It's all we had back then. But his idea is that every so many blocks you would have energy generators that would be powering the homes using DC power. It's amazing. I mean, except for with clean energy using the sun. So that's the advancement. But the concept, it's almost returning back to Edison's day, where we're decentralizing it instead of having the big power generation going over the lines. We're having localized DC power produced right on someone's property. Wow. How interesting how it's almost like a flashback, right?
Absolutely. And we look into like the efficiency of our solar storage systems. You are talking by, 90%. If we consider, every component that may cause some of, power losses, that's 90%. Where you sending through a power line, you talk about your efficiency is not even more than 50%. So there is a big differences that we really need to consider, in terms of the efficiency. And we all know that, especially for fossil fuel, that is limited quantity, right? So once you, like you said, burn it, it's flash, it's gone. Where with the sunlight, it can be reproduced. So you talk about something decentralized, more efficient, and it can be reproduced on an everyday basis versus something that is burned once and it's gone, and a send through power line have 60% of power losses. So this is a big difference here. Now, of course, by any new technology, it does take time for the technology to be mature and then to be commercialized, and then obviously costs will driven the cost down. And so that's what the industry and everybody's working in this space, right? Including scientific, including manufacturers, installer, complex Soligent distributors. So all have improved the efficiency and leading to where we are now. That is really a very compelling solution for individual homes.
It's realistic too.
Yeah.
It's not pie in the sky. It's not just for the rich. It's becoming so affordable. In addition to your point on being efficient, the affordability factor, versus what you're going to pay. And that's another thing too. It's like renting, your power versus owning your power, renting a home versus owning a home. If you rent a home, you pay your rent, you live there for the month, and then the next month you got to pay it again, but you don't get any equity. You have no ownership. If you stop paying your rent, you're gone. Just like with the utility, you stop paying your bill. If you have no solar and storage, they shut it off. But not that this is right for everybody, but if properly sized, there's actually the capability with, properly sized PV array, say a Solarc 15K inverter and the right Fortress Power energy storage solution sized correctly. Somebody could potentially, not need the utility at all. I know there's limit to home use functionality in the Solarc that allows folks to not have to sell back at all to the grid, self-consume everything with storage and solar, and then maybe, occasionally if they need to buy some power, they can. But they're not dependent anymore. They own it. Versus paying those high rates, which is renting your power, ownership versus renting power. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. So like I mentioned, just the way you describe it really makes, I think it makes it very easy to understand for the consumers or for the homeowners is the model they use, rent versus, own it. So the solar systems, you build it right for your home. First, you can also take 30% of tax credit, right? So, and in addition to that, that's your monthly electricity saving that's going to generate through, net metering or even through the self-supply that, like you just, Josh, you just mentioned that you set it up that all electricity that produced is going to be consumed in the house, and then you can use the grid as a backup. So places like California in some areas, especially after NEM 3.0, or like in Puerto Rico or like in Hawaii where the electricity prices are very high, put in self-supply mode, it really going to reduce electricity costs. And if you're in an area that you can do net metering, you can have your excessive TV power feedback to the grid and get those credits. It's also an investment, right? So it's an investment and increase your property value. It helps you save electricity costs on a monthly basis. We've seen systems, depends where it is, the amortization time somewhere between, I've seen some even like 3 years up to 10 years. But the system is designed to last 20 plus years. So from that moment, let's say, take the worst example, by the 10 years you got your return on investment back. After that, 10 to 15 years, it's purely saving for you.
It's all accumulative. It builds up almost like a snowball, right? Like,
correct.
Exactly. It's what compound interest when you look at investments. You look at the payoff over, versus your investment for what your return on investment is. And, it's a perfect segue into the conversation about NEM3 in California. Storage, Fortress Power CEO, energy storage superstar Jing Yu with us today on the Beyond Emissions podcast. Click on the link below, folks, and get your Fortress Power energy storage solutions today from Soligent. In California, let's talk to our California installer listeners. California installers listening to Beyond Emissions by Soligent, tune in right now, get your ears perked up, or hit rewind and listen to this again. This is very important. It's vital. Storage, okay? You are no longer going to get your customers' return on investment with solar only after April 14th in California. That's just a few weeks away. NEM3 in California requires storage to get an ROI, not just a peace of mind, energy independence, but to get your return on investment by consuming all that energy yourself and not selling it back. Talk to our listeners about how they can get ready to offer our installer customer listeners that are listening right now. How can they get ready to thrive and help their customers thrive under NEM3 in California using storage?
Well, I think this is, let's use Hawaii as an example, okay? Hawaii, a couple of years ago, they also canceled basic net metering completely, and then you have to set up the system to be self-supplied because the Hawaii the HECO is concerning there is during the day the production is basically the one curve those schedule those dark curves and make sure the grid can take this PV power and not overstress the grid. So whatever this, if it's true or not, we're not going to discuss about that. But looking to the Hawaii market, is after that happened, the market has made also a drastic adjustment. The battery storage deployment has gone up, basically from maybe 10% to 70%, and even to this days is almost every PV system that installed is touched with the battery. So I think that this is very similar things going to happen in California after NEM 3.0. Of course, it does take some time to make the adjustment, and I do know a lot of contract probably have also a back lock of systems order they have to install, so give them time to make that adjustment. But based on the own analytics data that we've seen, and also been reading some of other third-party studies and also talking to the contractors that we work with, that in Q4 we believe that the attachment rate of the battery storage in that market can go as high as 70%. So now, for the contractor perspective, is obviously some of the clients that from the PV installation, that amount will reduce. What you can make up is by offering a battery storage for turnkey solution. Now your revenue per project is going to go up, right? So you do less systems, but your revenue per project will go up.
And the return on investment, it's going to be there because at the end, I mean, the life expectancy of a Fortress Power lithium iron phosphate battery. By the way, folks, we love lithium iron phosphate, and we'll go into that with Jing in just a moment. Not all lithium is the same. I want to go there. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about life expectancy. Folks and by the way, Jing Yu, CEO of Fortress Power, available here at Soligent. Click on the link below with us today on the Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast. Thank you, Jing. So the properly sizing of an energy storage system is key. If you take the total kilowatt hours someone needs per day and you divide by 0.8, which increases that by 20%, so that the battery is 20% larger than the daily energy need, the battery should be sized for 1 cycle per day at 80% depth of discharge. At 80% DOD, a Fortress Power lithium iron phosphate battery, not only is it safe, and we'll go into that, the differences between different lithium chemistries, they're not all the same. Some are better than others, and we'll go into why in just a moment. But properly sized at 80% depth of discharge, that's 8,000 cycles. That's 22.91 years of life, because we've sized it for 1 cycle per day, and divide that by 365, 8,000 cycles, 21.91 years. That's literally 22 years of life expectancy before you're at the 70% of the remaining capacity. That matches a lot better with the 25-year life expectancy that someone's got in mind when they're making a solar investment for their solar panels to begin with, right? We don't want to have someone go 90%, 100% DOD and have to replace their batteries in 12 to 14 years just because the spec sheet says you can. Nobody wants to buy another battery in 12 years. So we have to be responsible. If we properly size it at 80% DOD, it's going to match more in line with the life expectancy that the customer has for their investment for their solar system overall, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's very well said. So, like 80 battery chemistries, that there's a few factors that impact that, right? One is the double discharge you just mentioned. Second is the C reading, basically the discharging rate, and the other is the ambient temperature, because temperature has also impact on the battery chemistry. Remember, those are chemicals, so it does have the environment temperature will have impact on that. And you're very well said for double discharge. We really recommend 80%, like you just mentioned, that you can do 100%, you can do 90%. But reality is, if you let your battery every time to be completely discharged to zero, just like your phone, okay, and then charge back, it really shortens your lifespan. It's better for you. That's why on the phone, when you do less than 20%, it's going to show you red, right? Tell you, hey, you better charge up now. Because why? Because you can prolong your battery lifespan. Now, the other thing is the C rating. So battery is also designed to be able to do fast charging, discharging, like a 1 C rating. You charge the battery within an hour, you discharge the battery within an hour. Now, reality is when you charging in fast, it creates a lot of heat. I don't know, Josh, if you use like phone, use like fast charger to charge your phone, you can see it, maybe takes 30 minutes or it will be charged full, but then it gets really hot.
I felt it. Yeah, you can feel it in your hands. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the idea wise is to keep at a 0.5 C, which means to charge your battery, to charge discharge, take 2 hours to charge it up, take 2 hours to discharge. That's the best utilize of your battery chemistry, obviously also for battery lifespan. Now, ambient temperature, of course, room temperature or temperature control room will be optimum, but we're also facing that AHJ and also the fire departments are pushing the battery to be put outdoor. So that's why for our new product that we're launching for both the high voltage and also the 48 volts, we have built up also heat plates as well as active cooling fan to allow the battery to be outdoor environment, but then have some mechanism built in to keep the battery temperature in a certain room that is optimum for battery lifespan.
And hence the efficiency as well. That's excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Most inefficiency is lost through heat, which is exactly what you're talking about. Hey, folks, if you're just joining us, hit rewind and listen to this all over again. You can listen to it on demand. Join us here at the Soligent YouTube channel on Spotify, Beyond Emissions Podcast. Our special guest, Jing Yu, CEO of Fortress Power, Energy Storage Solutions by Fortress Power, available at Soligent. Click on the link below to find out more today. Okay, we're going to talk about it. Most people don't get the differences. They just hear lithium and they see, all the fires in the news and they think, lithium, or they see the cobalt mines with the kids, getting sick in Africa or wherever in war-torn countries and Afghanistan, you name it. And that's sad. But not all lithium is the same. Would you be willing to share a little bit on that with our listeners?
Yes, absolutely. So there's actually many different, lithium batteries, depends on the content mix. Now, popularly used are two. One is the nickel manganese cobalt, NMC, which is used in Tesla, in a lot of automobiles. In automotive, company like LG Chem also use NMC as well. Now, the other chemistry is lithium iron phosphate, which I know that Josh, you like this chemistry. And in the short term, it's called LFP, right? And the difference between those two chemistry is NMC does have the cobalt, and the cobalt is it's very volatile. It's an element that is, has a high volatility. So if the temperature goes up, it can cause thermal runaway and lead to a fire. And with the LFP chemistry, you don't have that concern because it does not have cobalt. The elements that in the battery are safe, and that's why when we started the business here, when Fortress Power was founded, we looked into the different chemistry. We did different tests. And we decided to go with LFP because it gives us, a peace of mind. I know I can sleep in the night. I don't have to worry about it's going to cause fire or issues like that.
Right. Safety. It's different. Thermal runaway, cascade failure. You're not going to have the same situation. Not all lithium chemistries are the same. In addition, I'd like you to talk about the difference between nickel, manganese, cobalt, and lithium iron phosphate that most people forget. Most people focus just on the safety. But with lithium iron phosphate, you can actually get up to 30 to 40% more life cycles as well. So more longevity and more usable energy over the life of the system for the customer. Am I right about that?
Yes. Actually, it's more than 30-40%. So let's give you, examples, right? With NMC chemistry, so you usually it's around 2,500 or 3,000 cycles. Let's assume that you have that, follow the 0.5 C charging rate in a temperature controlled environment, and also at the 80% of debit discharge. With the LFP, now again, even talk about LFP, you also need to look into its tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, right? From the tier 1 manufacturer prismatic cells that we use, those can go 8,000 cycles, 10,000 cycles. So you can see really a 2 or 3 times differences in terms of the cycle life.
It's real. It's real. It's all transparent.
It is real. It is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm being conservative when I said 30 to 40%, but wow, you're absolutely right. It's a huge difference, and not to pick on other brands or anything, but let's just go after the elephant in the room. Tesla. It's currently in its current form factor is NMC, nickel, manganese, cobalt, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So if you want to get the benefits of lithium iron phosphate, of lithium batteries, but without the danger and the fire hazard problems of nickel, manganese, cobalt, definitely, without a doubt, Fortress Power Solutions are the way to go. Available right here at Soligent today. Would you be willing to talk a little bit with our listeners about, you've got a couple different options available. Again, at Soligent Fortress Power Solutions, Jing Yu, CEO from Fortress, with us today on the Beyond Emissions podcast. Click on the link below. Become a Fortress Power dealer with Soligent today. Click on the link below. Jing, would you be willing to talk a little bit about that? We've got some great options available. 18.5 kilowatt hour increments with your Evault and 5.4 kilowatt hour increments with your Eflex. Would you maybe go into those two options a little bit for our listeners?
Yes. So the Evault 18.5 is our flagship product. We've have tens of thousands of installations, globally. And that product, nice is it's the form factor 18.5. That you just take the units, you wire to the inverter, such as Thork or Schneider, and that's it. So it's really easy install and a big power format. We have homes use 1 unit. We have seen homes that use 10 or even 20 units for big homes, and makes the installation very easy for the installers. And also comes with LCD display where you can see all the charging parameters, the voltage, the amperage, and if there is any issue, there's also an error code you can see on the screen that it really helps, the technicians to do a system diagnosis if there is an issue, right? So it's IP55 rated, so it's for indoor or you put in a garage. Now, the other option you mentioned about Eflex 5.4, so in a smaller format, so modular design for people who want to go with a maybe 5 kilowatt hour, 10 kilowatt hour, and then down the road they want to add more capacity. It's a sealed battery with IP65 rating, and it really, and we design also a rack called a dual rack, which is also available through the Soligent, that you can fit up to 4 units inside. So you have a sealed battery with a NEMA 3R enclosure. In addition to that, in this NEMA 3R enclosure, you can also add heat or element into it, heater or fan. So if you have concern about getting too hot, or you're concerned that some of the days your temperature is going to drop too low, so the battery chamber, the dual rack chamber, can be kept warm. So that's for outdoor installation, obviously. So we have those two options in terms of like the indoor, outdoor, or you want a big format, or you want a more modular design. And both use the prismatic, tier 1 prismatic cell that is designed for automotive applications. So it's much high quality, and with a very robust, solid relay-based battery management systems. It's not MOSFET, it's battery, it's relay, and it gives more protection of the system in terms if there is cases that it is overpower, the relay can disconnect the battery and then make sure the battery cells are well protected.
Ah, yes. And you may have touched on it a moment ago. Forgive me, I'm a little hard of hearing. Can I get again what is the total kilowatt hours? How many 5.4 units can fit inside of a FlexTower enclosure?
You can do up to 4, which will be like 21 kilowatt hour, and then you can put another dual rack next to it, so it will enable you go up to another basic another 5 units of that. More than that, actually, you can go up to another 8 units of that dual rack to go up to 160 kilowatt hour for indoor, outdoor installation. On the Evault Max side, that you can go up to 370 kilowatt hour, and actually we're going to bump up that to 2 times more, so going to be basically around 600, close to 700 kilowatt hour, because we're doing a project that is using 40 of the Evault Max, and we use a microgrid controller that we in-house developed that we're using for our CNI solution, incorporating into the residential product to enable customer do 40 Evault Max.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. It's Fortress Power, their CEO, and you're a friend of ours, CEO Jing Yu, here at Soligent's Beyond Emissions podcast. You have an amazing team as well. You know, a lot of manufacturers and vendors out there, you know, they sell the products through the distributors, and they make their tech support available, you know, after the fact, you know, for programming and assistance. You know, I'm not saying everybody does a horrible job, but you guys do an amazing job because you don't just offer after the sale service and technical support. You offer pre-system design engineering support that most, that talk about that. That is a huge value if someone needs assistance up front of figuring out all the components they need to have a successful project. Talk about that pre-design engineering assistance and how that works with Fortress.
Yes, sure. So service it's always been very, very important for us because we know that that's what differentiates us from many others. So we have like two groups of engineers that support. One's on the pre-sale, right? We have the solution engineers that, for example, you know, one of the sales engineer that a solution engineer interact with the Kyle, he will talk to the customer, figure out the systems, and then come back with a configuration and a bill of material list that the contract can take that and build up their proposal and give to the homeowner or give to the business owner. So we have a group of solution engineers that conduct a lot of conversation with the contractors to help them to come up with the best configuration. And then we also have application engineering team that also provides after-sales service, right? So, which means the system deliver and they need help to how to hook this up for our residential product. It's mostly through the phone. We do have also engineers across the country, everywhere, so it can be provide a service on the local time zone for the customers. But most of them will go through the phones and we help them configure the systems or any other issue that come across at a job site. Or it could be homeowner, it could be installer. So now, in addition to that, I also want to mention is, Joshua, when we started this business back then, the battery storage is very new for a lot of folks. So we are also very big into the training. We have a training program on the website. We do on demand or or on the webinar that with a certain time schedules and constantly to educate our partners about not just the battery chemistry, but also how to configure the systems, but also how to meet the NEC code requirements. Right, when you design and install system, you want also able to pass the permitting as well. So we offer next step certified training. So for us, we really provide, pre-sale training and an after-sale service, a bundle together, and let our partners to choose what they want for their project.
What is your favorite, success story, if you could think of one, as far as just a happy customer out there or a successful solution that was offered, through Fortress Power to some customers? I mean, I know there's so many to choose from, so forgive me for putting you on the spot, but what would be one of your favorite success stories that you could think of?
Yes, I will choose the story that about the Scepter. Scepter is a local transportation company that run all the, railways and also buses in the great Philadelphia area. So they are actually our first customer. And back in 2016, so we got approached by Scepter, say, hey, we want to have a battery storage systems that want to back up our control gear, and because the local utilities are having more power outage and they're not being very helpful. So Scepter decided to go put millions of dollars to put out the solar storage systems for backup and purpose. And then we started design the battery chemistry for them, and it designed the format to meet their project requirements. So we end up, providing them the 5 kilowatt hour battery. That's the LFP 5, that's the first generation of the product. We no longer offer that. And to power, along with Schneider equipment, to power the gear control systems, installed it, and they did a testing for a year to make sure it's safe and sound. And then it worked 100%. And then they went through and did, many installations, many different, like from one line to extend it to 3 railway lines. And now we've been supplying over thousands of batteries there, and we have not heard any complaints from sector. So I think this is the reason I mentioned this, because safety is obviously very important for transportation for a rail company, and have a reliable solution is very critical for them. And we can meet that standard and have 0 complaints. I think, and this system be now up and running for 6+ years. I think we can be very proud of that.
I am proud. I'm proud of you guys at Fortress Power, and I'm so thankful that we're able to offer Fortress Power solutions in total to our listeners. Listeners, click on the link below. Become a Fortress Power energy storage solution provider today with us, your partners here at Soligent, by becoming a Soligent dealer. Click on the link below. Find out more. A Soligent specialist will be in touch with you on what options you can start making available today to your customers from Fortress Power Energy Storage. It's fantastic. Jing Yu, CEO of Fortress Power, a partner with Soligent here on the Beyond Emissions by Soligent podcast. Make sure you're liking this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell in the corner, and make sure that you're a part of the ongoing conversation by going down to the comments section and typing in your questions and thoughts and concerns. We want you to be a part of this conversation about creating this world that is beyond emissions. So excited that you're here. Thank you so much, Jing Jing. We've got to know about your company. We've got to know about the features and benefits, the value proposition. We learned today about lithium iron phosphate versus lithium, a commercial, industrial, residential, you name it. All these solutions available, Fortress Power solutions available through Soligent. Folks, click the link below. But let's learn about you. So curious, I'm wondering, and our audience is wondering, how did you get started, Jing? Generally speaking, we don't see a woman-owned powerhouse company out there these days. And I take that back. Catherine Von Berg, a friend of mine as well, was a CEO over at Simplify, for example. So I guess the times are a-changing. Do you have a story? Where did you start? How did you fall in love with energy storage? What started your steps on this journey of becoming the CEO of Fortress Power?
Yeah, great, thank you. My journey with solar started when I was like 21 years old, when I was a student for a university in Germany. So I went to Germany for school, I got to choose, like the certain subject to classes to attend, just as like interest or hobby. I picked up solar, and then I went up into a local solar installation company that in the south of Germany in Bavaria, and involved in design the solar system and also storage system, but with the lead assets back then. So that was like opened my eyes. So, oh wow, this thing really works. And then about 10 years ago, I got transitioned over by my previous employer with NICO. They make high quality black on black solar panels to the U.S. and establish the U.S. operation here. I've done that for about 4 or 5 years, and at that point I'm looking into, okay, I want to make some changes. It's nice to sell solar panels. I'm making impact, but I'm also feel like not utilize my engineering skill set very well. And I was looking to what's the next big thing out of there, and I started seeing a lot, 15, Josh, you probably know, like 14, 15, people starting to talk about a solar storage. And Tesla launched their product in 2016, right? And that got me the idea, okay, maybe this is the new thing that I need to be looking to that I think can make, big differences. And then at the same time, in the 2016, I got approached by SEPTA through a local engineering company that I work with, and they, while you obviously, make solar panels, the industry very well, can you come up with a battery that we need for a Scepter and give me all those parameters? And I'm not a chemical engineer, I'm an electrical engineer, but my husband is a chemical engineer that graduated in a top-notch university in Australia that is specialized in lithium technology. So he helped me to understand the chemistry, the differences. So we come up with a design and we made a prototype and delivered to Scepter, and then they installed and it worked very well. And I'm thinking, okay, if this works for Scepter for real well, maybe I should talk to some of my customers. They're doing back then more off-grid installation in Vermont, in Amish community in Pennsylvania. So I reach out to some of them and I say, hey, I have this lithium technology. Do you want to try? They say, sure, send me over. That's how we started. And from there, you see that starting from 2017, 18, 19, and in the last couple of years, the battery storage market has been, double almost every year. So we're very lucky to get in the business at the right time and then, grow from there.
Wow. All in the family, really. I learned so much from my wife as well. You're so blessed to have a great husband, and he's blessed to have a great wife. I'm just so blessed. My wife, she has a social media marketing company, and, through all of her classes and certifications and everything she's learned for LinkedIn and Facebook and how to properly market, in this business we're in, that's where our customers and as well as the end user customers are at. You see it on LinkedIn all the time, how successful just my organic stuff is that you notice on there. Well, there's a reason why it's that good. It's not because I'm great. I've learned a lot from my wife. It just how you were inspired and learned a lot from your husband as well. I think we're both blessed, aren't we? I mean, it's really a package deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, there's so many things we can learn daily from people around us. So, as well, like I will learn things. We get a new hires and bring out new ideas and a new experience. And wow, that's great. I didn't know about it. So, that's the beauty part, that you associate with yourself with people that have different skill sets and knowledge and bring ideas and knowledge to the table and work together as a team.
Collaboration, not just like we do. Soligent and Fortress Power.
Absolutely.
Would you like to collaborate with us, folks, and become a Fortress Power solution energy storage provider? Just click on the link below and join us as a dealer here at Soligent, and we'll work with you. We'd love to. Hey, for our folks that are listening that are just getting brand new into the business, or they've done residential solar their whole lives and now they're going to get into doing and maybe offering some energy storage, or even folks that are listening right now that aren't even in the industry, but they're considering making a career change. Would you speak to them? What would you recommend they hone their skills on? What would you recommend that they try to learn and educate themselves on to have success in this business?
There's actually multiple channels they can use, right? There's YouTube. You can go and search, PV 101, solar storage 101. But also we have a library that is on Fortress Power's website. If you go to our website, you can go to our library, and there's a lot of videos and presentations that you can take to learn if you want to get more in depth about the product knowledge. And I know Soligent also hosts a lot of webinars too, right? Not just podcasts, but also webinars that the end users or electricians and installer want to get in these businesses. There's also NAPSAP training you can get as well if you want to get NAPSAP, certified. So there is a lot of resources that's available.
Right on. I love it. We've had a great show today. Very informative and inspiring. Jing Yu, CEO of Fortress Power, here with us today at the Beyond Emissions podcast by Soligent. Jing, thank you so much for being on our show today. If our listeners would like to contact you and learn more, obviously, folks, if you want to sell and offer Fortress Power solutions, they're available at Soligent. Click on the link below and become a dealer today. But if they just like to reach out and learn more and chat with you guys, what would be the best way for our listeners to contact you, Jing?
Yeah, sure. So we have an inside team here, sales team that deal with a lot of customer questions. So you can email to sales@fortresspower.com and just, send an email there. We can get your questions answered, or if you want to have one-on-one training, we can get you one-on-one training. So it's sales@fortresspower.com. And of course, you can also give us a call as well. So our, numbers are 877-497-6937. And then from there, you can choose if you want a question about pricing or you have a question about a technical information. So you can choose different options, and we will, get you connected with the right person to help you.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Excellent. Thank you very much, Jing. You're awesome. Look forward to you. I hope you and Alex Lepore, Kyle Bannon, your whole team, phenomenal. Michael, you guys are great, and get you guys back on the podcast again. And looking forward to working hard with you this year and helping customers, especially in California with NEM3 and storage. And well, any kind of customer, off-grid, grid tie, battery backup, you name it. You guys have amazing solutions available right here at Soligent. Thanks so much, Jing, for being on the podcast. Hang on the line for engineers, okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. Jing Yu, CEO of Fortress Power, available right here at Soligent. Click on the link below. I'm Josh Brumm, Energy Storage Manager, also as well host of the Beyond Emissions podcast, available at Spotify and the Soligent YouTube channel. Soligent, the largest pure-play solar distributor in the Americas.
We at Soligent are incredibly excited to announce our partnership with GivePower. Well, we wouldn't be here today talking to you about GivePower if it wasn't for our partners, LoanPal. They've been with GivePower since the beginning. Their contribution has given water and light to countless people across the globe. We are truly inspired by LoanPal's dedication to the cause. Something LoanPal said really strikes a chord regarding GivePower, that this is something that's more than money. It's what makes making money more worthwhile. In a lot of ways, that's synonymous with what we're doing here at Soligent.
Here's how you can help.
What we've decided to do is compound LoanPal's contribution by donating to GivePower on every order paid via our direct pay program through LoanPal. That's right. Every time your company uses your LoanPal portal to pay Soligent for material, 5 people get clean drinking water for a full year.
Together we're stronger.
Together, we can choose to be extraordinary by giving to people who live outside our reach. To us, this means a lot more.
Soligent's purpose meets GivePower's mission. Join the impact. Soligent, Solar Engine. SolarEngineSolutions.com. Go there to find out more. CALSA, CALSSA, stands for California Solar and Storage Association. Join over 700 companies, including Soligent, and become a CALSA member today. Go to www.calsa.org/join and enter Soligent as the discount code and receive 10% off your first year. Membership starts as low as $500 per year and covers you and your entire company. You can pay in monthly installments or once per year. Why join CALSA? For over 40 years, CALSA has been fighting for your rights in California. If you're an installer or contractor in California, it's CALSA working behind the scenes on your behalf to protect the solar and energy storage business you and your companies rely on each day. Imagine the utilities are totally unchecked without CALSA fighting for you. CALSA fights for your rights and also provides resources like direct one-on-one support from their experts to help you with your questions, navigating everything from NEM3 to battery fire code compliance. CALSA will help you and your company to stay up to date on the latest policy changes that impact the California solar and storage market and your bottom line. Joining CALSA helps to fund their work to lobby for cutting solar and storage red tape, pass pro-solar laws, and to defend your business from attacks. Become a CALSA member today at www.calsa.org/join and enter the discount code Soligent to receive 10% off your first year. CALSA is fighting for you and your business. Join over 700 companies like Soligent and make a difference in the California solar and energy storage market today.